like I said, everyone, this is starting, so make sure that you guys are ready. Please gather around because you'll definitely need to go and see what I'm doing. Okay. You're going to go and take the mac and cheese recipe and you're going to divide it by 2. So it says already half the recipe. Okay? Yeah, no, not divided by half again. If it says half the recipe, then that's good. So certain things that you can cross off that you don't really need. A goki garni, which means it's just flavor from bay leaves and everything else. You can take that out. Onions, that is, you can put that in, but if, for me, as a quick way, I don't need to because then I don't have to strain, so I take out one of that. Milk you need, whipping cream you need, and then notice that there's a 1 cup of different types of cheeses. The reason why this cheese mixture will be tasting really good will be because you have not just 1 type of cheese, but 4 types, okay? And just letting you know, Gruyere will be basically like almost like a Swiss cheese, so it has a nutty taste to it. Parmesan is what gives it nice sweetness to it. I have cheddar, and did you know that cheddar actually is supposed to be white and not orange? They just make it like that because for some reason people associate cheddar with orange. So it is white cheddar. And blue cheese. The secret, actually, this, and I hate blue cheese, is that it just ups the flavor. Now, today I actually never got the chance to go and get blue cheese. So why am I teaching this? I actually had a dilemma saying, oh, should I go and buy blue cheese just so I can show it? I was thinking, no, I shouldn't do that. Because, and I will buy blue cheese for you because you'll taste the difference. But the reason why I decided not to is that if something does not go according to plan, and you have majority of the ingredients, you're not just going to go to the store just for one little thing. Find a substitute, okay? And that's what means to be creative and to learn enough about your ingredients. So what we're going to do is give it a little bit of Dijon mustard, okay? And that will be the kick that will go into it. Bring it out, okay? Tabasco sauce, which, Brendan, if you can go in the sauces, grab the Tabasco sauce for me, you'll need that. And we're going to get started. You're going to use a tomato relish, and we're going to do the casse. It's going to be pretty simple, but at the same time, pretty complex. 2 things I need to keep in mind. 1, I want you to take a look at this pot. Do you see anything bad about the pot? Are you sure? Yeah? You saw the pot? Okay? There's a burnt side to this. You need to go, if this is yours, and I'm sorry, I have 175 students that actually go through this class every 2 days. So for me to go and actually do this all the time and check every single thing, that's not my responsibility. It's communal equipment large. That's your duty, okay? But if you get this, don't just take it and put it back. Take it and take the responsibility and just, you know, do everyone a favor and just wash it. But also, wash it for yourself, because if you get this into your food, it will actually taint your food. It's unsanitary because there's bacteria. 2, it's unsanitary. It actually will burn and then it'll affect your food and it will cause your food to get burnt and will have a taste into it. Okay? So I purposely took this so that I can take the time to go and scrub it before I get started. All right? Second thing, I want you guys to take a look at this bowl. I took a look at this bowl. You can pass it around. But this is what I found in there. And if I saw this bowl and it was used, what will happen to my food? Okay? Alright, I have no clue what that is. And that's what it means by cross-contamination and why cleaning is so key. I know you guys are cleaning really fast, but even water will actually end up getting into your food. Okay? And it will build bacteria. Remember? Remember, you just got your food safe. Moisture. Moisture is one of the things that help build bacteria. Yeah, promote the growth of it. So I'm going to take the time to go and scrub this out first. And I wanted to specifically show you, because I don't want to get it in my food. And also, this is what I usually do before I even start, because this is my mise en place also. This is my way to make sure that my quality of my food is extremely good. don't do this, your quality of your food will be extremely poor. Okay, so we're going to get a little bit of ice. So Denali or John, please get some ice. And the first thing I'm going to get going, all right, because a lot of things you can do before is I'm going to get started with, and you and your partner can talk about who does what, but I'm just my little self. You're going to take a tomato. This will be, once again, I had a tomato at home because I forgot to buy a tomato.
Do I use my hands?
Yeah, you could use that, or you could use a spoon. All right. Okay, and that's what I found. All right, so just make sure that we all take our time to check your stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna go and cut this, and I'm gonna start to concasse my tomato. My tomato, I'm just gonna go and have one pot ready to go, and this pot is the same pot I'm gonna use for the pasta. Okay. And I have 2 tomatoes. And this one is okay. There's a lot of water. Fill it all the way to the top because that's very key whenever you're going to be cooking. And what you're going to do is that you're going to put an X on the bottom of it. Okay? This is a slight slit, just very quick. You're not cutting into a deep one. And then, John, I really need it soon. John, you ready? Okay, cut the NX strip on the bottom. We're going to start the concasse first. Okay? Actually, what I'm trying to do is think about how I'm going to finish this in half an hour. Don't worry, I will. Yes. There we go. Okay, so follow along because we'll be nice and quick. So if I were you, I would highly recommend you guys just coming out here. Okay, first of all, I'm going to just dunk the tomatoes right in. Okay, now you're going to get a different type of tomato. It's going to be called a Roma tomato, which is an Italian tomato, and that one's a better one. I'm going to be talking quite fast, so because I have half an hour. So I just wanted to go and put the tomato in. It has a slit or a slight, just a score on the bottom. You're not cutting it really deep. You just want to de-skin it. So I'm just putting it in, letting it cook a little bit, okay? And what I want to take a look at is if the tomato would split its skin. If it does, and I can peel it off, put it right into the ice water. Make sure it's fully submerged, okay? So less than 30 seconds. I'm not cooking the tomato. Keep in mind, I'm not cooking the tomato. I just want to de-skin the tomato, okay? Just to keep that in mind. While that happens, I have my boiling water ready to go. So might as well get my pasta started. I'm going to add lots of salt because I wanted to flavor the pasta without me adding salt later. So I need to flavor the water. So as it cooks, it sucks in the salt, okay? I'm not telling you to dump like the whole thing, but it will taste what we call like the seeds. So I have around a cup and a half or so, I would say a cup and a quarter, okay? A cup and a quarter or so of macaroni, and in it goes, okay? And I'm just gonna start to cook it. As I do that, I'm gonna give it a stir because I wanted to make sure that it leaves the bottom. But with pasta, 2 things. There are several things that you need to do. Lots of salt, lots of water. Okay? Do not oil the water. That does not help. You never oil the water. It does not help. Okay? Second thing is that as you do, you just give it a nice stir and it'll separate. You don't need to worry about it sticking together. As long as the fastest way for it to go and bring it to a boil, fastest time to bring it to a boil, the better. So a rapid boil will be good. You want to cook this until when you eat it, it is chewy, which means it's al dente, okay? If it is not, if it's overcooked, let's just say that al dente is actually the better way of eating any type of pasta because your body takes a longer time to digest it, so it uses more energy. Versus if it's over-processed, it takes less energy, and then it'll turn that energy if it's not used for let's just say any type of spores or things like that, it will turn into fat. Okay, because it is a refined carb now instead of a complex carb. So I just give this a little stir, and I keep this multitasking. I'm just gonna keep an eye on it. So notice that I'm starting to multitask. Okay, and I'm gonna start peeling my tomatoes. My goal is that I finish peeling my potatoes before my pasta is done. And this is my way of like getting myself on top of things. I give in my head mental goals. I think of ways so I could go faster, so that I don't like just take my time because I don't have enough time. Okay, so I'm peeling the skin, and if chunks of meat comes off, that means that you overcooked your tomato. It should be a nice smooth tomato skin. Okay. Hello. So once I have that, I'm going to go and discard this because I don't need this anymore. Okay? So I'm going to keep things nice and neat. I'm going to go and take my tomato, and I'm going to go and quarter it. And look what I'm doing right now. I'm going to actually, it seems like a small step, but I want to line it up and I'm going from right to left. I'm a lefty, so I'm going from right to left. So I'm like pretending it's like an assembly line, so I'm feeding it from one way to the other. So as I'm going, and you're going to go and keep these. I'm just going to go. Actually, I'm doing it inefficiently because I have to cross over myself. So I'm going to put it over here. So I'm going to cut off the tomato, and I'm de-seeding it. Okay? So it looks like little petals. Okay? Tomato petals. So this is a small thing. So rule, small things use small knives. Do not use a huge honking big knife for this. It's silly, it's stupid. You're gonna cut yourself instead of just cutting this. Okay, putting this on. You're gonna check it once in a while. Feel it. The only way that you actually know if it's pasta set is you cook it and then you eat it. If you actually don't and don't throw it against the wall, it doesn't do anything. No matter how uncooked it is, it'll still stick because the outside is kind of cooked. Inside, it doesn't say that it's cooked. You gotta eat it. So I'm gonna go and keep cooking it. While that happens, I'm gonna line this up again with the flesh side, neck side up. Notice what I'm doing. You might think that I'm going a little crazy, but just a simple thing as me lining everything up. I'm going to make long strips, okay? And I'm going to make them into a dice. Everyone knows what a dice looks like? Is it a rectangle? No, it's a square, right? So I should be seeing squares and not rectangles, correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, get that going. Take my knife. Now I'm going to go and take it left to right. And this whole time, if you take a look at it nice and close, they're all a square. Okay? Because I'm feeding it in like this, left to right to left, I guess, because I'm a lefty, but you're doing left to right for you, then it's basically done. Okay? This is my tomato concasse. Okay? Tomato concasse is a really nice way of putting fresh tomatoes in anything. It could be into your salad. It could be put into your just your sauce last minute. Okay? Put it into. I sometimes just put it. What do I do? Oh, I put it last time into my sauce. It's dead. Oh, that's good. Oh my gosh! Oh God! So within that time of killing, I actually have my pasta set. Check. That's done. Yeah, specific tray. Plastic tray. So you're going to take this now, and I'm going to go and drain it because I ate it and it's fully cooked. Okay, double in size. I don't need this pot anymore. Thank you. And okay. Okay. So I'm gonna strain this. Put it in here. Yes, there's strainers over there. And you're gonna put it onto a tray, and you want to cool it down fast. If you put it in the strainer and leave it in the strainer, it will continue to cook. And no, you are not allowed to rinse this under cold water. That is a big no for Italians. Okay, worked in an Italian restaurant for a bit, that is like a big no. So then you're gonna go and separate it by adding a little bit of oil. Just very little. Do you guys see? Okay. Just very little, and then you're just gonna let it sit there for a little bit. Okay. As that happens, you're gonna go and start. And remember, you have a partner, so other partners are gonna start other things. Okay. So I leave this here. I actually cooked pretty little this time, but if you guys want, you can taste the actual pasta, and when you do, it's actually chewy, not like mushy in your mouth. Okay. So start my mornay sauce. It's a really simple sauce. The only thing is that you don't want it to be high heat. Okay. So you can even put your butter right in when it's cold, when the pot is cold. Let it melt slowly. Right? While that happens, I guess I'm going to start multitasking, and I'm going to make the kose. Really simple kose is really, really simple. I said this a lot. Okay? So this is melting at a low heat. I'm going to do the kose. I'm going to take some olive oil. So I'm going to make the breadcrumbs now. Okay? I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in here. Do you see how much? Can you guys see how much? Okay, those at the very back, make sure you know how much. I don't want it to be greasy. Put it in, and I'm going to take some, like around half a cup's worth of breadcrumbs, and I'm going to sprinkle it right in. On top of that, I'm going to take a hashé garlic that's really, really finely minced, and I'm going to put it right in.
What is that there, sir?
Hashé garlic. Okay? And what I'm going to do, and I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Okay? Alright? While that happens, I'm going to go and start cooking this guy. And it's going to turn golden brown. Okay? And you're going to toast crispy breadcrumbs. I'm looking at this. Looking pretty good. So I want it to be nice golden brown, not greasy. Okay? While I'm doing that, I'm going to go and chop some parsley. Okay? Only use the leaves. The stems you're going to keep because I make it into chicken stock, or not into chicken stock, but in my chicken stock. Okay? So give it a little toss. Should be nice and toasty. I cannot smell or taste raw garlic. Okay? So keep that in mind. No raw garlic. Okay, nice golden brown. So I'm waiting for it. Now it's like toast because it's breadcrumbs. So if it actually starts to toast and it ends up being brown for a little bit, it will actually get to become black very soon. So I'm looking at it, golden brown soon, and it's almost ready to go. My goal is, I think, by the time I finish cutting this, I told you I give personal goals so I can finish in 20 minutes. Not bad, I'm halfway through already. And because I'm actually kneading this, I can move around. Perfect. Now there's residual heat. It's going to keep cooking unless I put it into a container, so I'm going to do that right away. All of my dishes are neat. See, I'm cleaning as I go along. Add this straight in, some parsley. basically just to give it some color. Okay. And the other half, I'm going to have it all ready to go on my knife because I'm going to make my relish. Give this a little stir, get the flavor in. Okay, so this kose is done. Pasta is done. I'm making my roux now. See? Told you it's quick. So my roux, I got equal parts by weight of flour and starch, or sorry, flour and fat, and this time it's butter. So why I say fat is because sometimes you make gravy and you use like the chicken fat or the turkey fat. Okay, same way. So you're gonna make, I'm gonna add the flour, and in it goes, and what happens, and if you can't see it, it will end up clumping together, okay? So it becomes little clumps, all right, little lumps in here. And you want to make sure that it's all mixed in together. You can't add flour to thicken after you add the liquid, so you got to add it now, okay? Cook it up until it smells like baked goods. Once that happens, you're going to slowly add, a little bit at a time, your milk. Well, if you're doing onions, you add your onions and cook your onions first, but we're not. So we're going to add a little bit of, and what we're doing is it's starting to thicken, and it's absorbing or gelatinizing because it's absorbing the liquid. So as I'm doing this, I'm slowly working out the lumps. That is super key. If you add it all at once, your lumps will come out, and then that's basically it. Okay? So you want to make sure that you add your milk a little bit at a time. It's all smooth. So I'm slowly taking care of this process. Now, you have a floury texture to this. Okay? So when I eat this, it tastes like raw flour for now. Right? So if you take a look at this right now, it's still it's really hard to see on the TV, but that's why I tell you guys to actually come here to take a look because you can see it. You start to get all the cream. I'm going to add the cream now. And it's becoming a smooth mixture. It is not done yet. I need to wait for it to bubble. Okay? If it doesn't bubble, most likely it's not going to be tasting really good. You're going to taste raw flour. So it's like a nice smooth texture right now. I might actually need to add some more milk, just in case. Okay? So I will just have to wait for a little bit. While that happens, I'm going to add a little salt, as usual, because we need to season everything. Now, salt is not to make things salty, it's to bring out flavor. Okay? So I'm going to go and add a little bit of Dijon mustard right now, but if it's blue cheese, you're going to wait until the very end. Add this in, give it a little stir. Okay. It's pretty good. I'm going to go and taste it. Tastes good, and it doesn't have any floury taste. Okay? Second, I'm looking at it, and it is not lumpy. If it's lumpy, there's only one reason. It's because you just you didn't slowly stir and add everything in at once. I'm going to now put this at the side. Now remember, I didn't add the cheese yet, nor did I add the egg. If this is too hot and I add the cheese and egg, this will split and scramble. So you need to make sure you let it cool down. Okay? So while that happens, I'm going to go and heat up my pan, and I have a couple things ready to go. I have a shallot. Shallot is basically it looks like a red onion, but really light. It is a mixture. It's kind of like an onion and garlic had a baby, and then out came a shallot. Okay? These are really small, and it's like an onion. You have to only dice it once. So exactly how you dice an onion is exactly how you dice a shallot. But it's a small one. So small things use small knives, but exactly the same. I don't want you to hache. I shouldn't be seeing anyone hashing shallots at all. Okay? The only things that you hache are garlic and herbs. Okay? Now, notice the difference between these. This is a cilantro. This is parsley. Know the difference. They taste completely different. Okay? This is an Asian parsley. This is Italian parsley. It tastes completely different. Make sure you know which one it is that you're cooking with. Along with that, I have some sherry vinegar ready to go, and I have some brown sugar ready to go, yellow sugar. Okay? Oh, forgot. I'm going to add the secret ingredient, a little bit of Tabasco. Very little. Okay? It just gives it a slight kick. Okay, got this nice and hot. You don't need to always have things on high. Cooking things on low is always, majority of the time, better if you could. Okay, slowly warming up the pan. I'm going to add a little bit of oil to this. And I'm going to get started with adding my shallots. As I add it, it should sizzle. If it doesn't sizzle, it means that you didn't wait long enough. Okay? Didn't sizzle, didn't wait long enough. So I'm going to now push this aside, kind of get this going. Okay. Once I smell that the shallots are ready to go, I'm going to put this all in. Now, I want us to be a compote, meaning I can still see the stew. Okay? So I'm going to go in. You're going to have one tomato. You're not going to have two. Since I have two. And because every one of you guys are trying it. So I'm going to add a little bit of seasoning, just a little bit of salt again. And then at this point in time, I'm going to go and add my equal parts of sugar. Okay? And vinegar. So if I added a teaspoon of, it looks like approximately a teaspoon of sugar, I'm going to add a teaspoon of vinegar. Okay? I'm using sherry vinegar. And I'm going to let it cook it down, make it nice and jammy. Okay? And then afterwards, I'm going to go and add a little bit of garlic. Now this garlic is a little bit different from what you usually do. I'm going to get a mild taste of the garlic, I actually, I'm taking this down, letting it simmer. I'm going to go and take a microplane. Okay, this is a microplane. And this used to be a woodworking tool, and then chefs took it, and now we use it for garnishes, for everything else. We're going to grate some of the garlic in. Just like a little bit, maybe half. Okay? And what that does is it makes it less pungent. By the way, I'm nearly done. 15 minutes, not bad. Okay. While that happens, I'm going to let this cool down. Looks like it is a little bit cool. Okay? I'm going to go and add my cheese. It's a cup's worth of the blend. Okay? You still want to warm it enough that it actually melts, so that's a good thing. So I'm going to add it in. And if it looks like it's too thick, which it is for mine, I'm going to add a little bit of milk. So Zach, can you give me a little bit of milk? Okay? Notice I'm not like standing here stirring like for 20 minutes, just staying in this position. I'm just moving. I don't even have to use this guy actually. I can even put this away. All I need to do is just take it, and I just move it with my. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm just actually just. This is my stirring. I'm literally stirring. One last thing to wash. Okay? Stirring it up, taking a look at it, almost done. Okay, this looks like it's almost done too. I'm just going to add a little bit of milk just to make it thin it up. So it looks a little chunky. All the vinegar kind of went disappeared. I look at this and then needed a little bit more milk, so I'm going to add it. the cheese lumps. Okay, looks like I'm done. Okay, I don't see a lot of liquid anymore. And then it looks like I still see little chunks, so I can see the squares. That's important. Okay. And then afterwards, I'm going to go and give this a taste. Notice I'm not adding the parsley in here yet. Two things. Heat destroys the color of the grain. Secondly, it brightens up for a little bit, but as long as you keep leaving it in the heat, it would actually decreases the color, and it turns into this army green, okay, or a puke green to call it. Okay. The second thing is because I have acid also kills the green color. Okay, the vinegar is acid. Okay, so it kills the green color. So if I add it too early, it's just going to go and ruin my color. So do you understand why now when I'm cooking, I'm thinking about what's the best way to make sure that whatever I add will end up being the best form? Okay? So, taking this, a little bit more sugar, it's too sour. Remember, it's equal sweet and sour, so I should be tasting both. Good. This is done. Smooth, creamy, and no longer lumpy anymore.
So you already added the egg?
Nope, I didn't add the eggs. I added only the cheese to go and fix it. My egg is just right here. So let's put the milk back so that it doesn't spoil. Okay. I'm gonna go and use my other hand. Taste this again. Quite nice. If you're not okay with adding a raw egg, you don't have to. But if you're okay with it, let's go for it. Because it actually makes it a little bit more creamy. So,
Creamy, is that?
creamy, yep. Because the egg yolk has fat, and it makes things a bit more creamy. So you're going to take the egg yolk. But if you add this too hot, so I'm going to go and stir this until it's cooled down a little. Okay, here we go. And it goes. Stir it in. Right away, I'm going to go and add my macaroni right into it. Now, don't add it all, because what happened if you made too much macaroni, and then now you don't have a good ratio between the two? That sucks, because now you're not going to have a really good ratio of creaminess. It should be creamy and not overly macaroni. Does that make sense? It's actually slightly wet. Have a look. So I'm taking a look at this. Oh yeah, I can use a little bit more. Use a little bit more? Yeah, I can use a little bit more. You see what I'm doing? Yeah, you understand what I'm doing? I'm not adding it bam all at once. I'm just taking a look at it, stirring it. I'm gonna take just a little bit more. I have this much. Okay. Ooh. Caught it. Alright, mac and cheese. Dunsies. So, if you look at this, it's a creamy mac and cheese. It has enough coating, but it's not to the point where it's still oozing. Okay? It's not stiff. If I touch it, it doesn't move. Alright? Put this, okay? In here. Put this in here. And I'm going to go and start plating. So what happened is that the creaminess is cut through the relish part. After the relish, you have the crunchiness of the, you have the nice crunchiness. Okay, look how creamy this is. Okay, all right. So when you're putting it on, don't put it so that you overdo it. Okay, and there's always a group that actually overdoes and just dumps all the pasta in. You need to add a little bit of time, give it a stir, see, can I add a little bit more? Things like that, okay? So you're gonna go and add this, put it in. All right, so and keep in mind that as it cools down, it's gonna get stiffer, okay? So it should be nice and creamy and liquidy, oozy, okay? You're gonna put this in. Oh. I'm gonna put some breadcrumbs right on top. So you have, now do you see that? You're no longer cooking just like a dish. You're actually cooking it so that it there are several layers. There's a crunchy layer, there's a crunchy layer with a very creamy layer, and it's cheesy, and then you have this sweet and sour part that will actually bring out the creaminess and cut through. You understand? Like, it's so good. I take this. Last minute I put it in, and I should be able to take 2 spoons, and you're just going to try to make a football shape. Yeah. Let's call it quenelle. Okay.
What's that thing called?
Sorry?
The sauce I made.
Tomato relish. Any questions? Can you eat it? Okay, a couple things. This is what you need to do before you're allowed to go. Everyone needs to make sure that your partners have their full set, okay, and knows what you're going to do.
Smushed inside.
Unit 4, you're doing laundry. Unit 6, your double dishes. And yes, you guys get to try this.
I think she said to eat it now.
Make sure everyone has some.
Holy.
That's what everyone said.
Holy macaroni.
Okay, make sure everyone has a little bit. You're going to taste everything to go with it, okay? Make sure that you have everything a little bit more.
I want to try.